Whose motorcycle is this?
It's a chopper, baby.
Whose chopper is this?
Zed's.
Who's Zed?
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
Ya empezamos. No hay más público. Para el show. Sí, Tetuan Demo. No te vi. Yo también lo veía y decía, "Joder".
Tú sabrás. Sabrás lo que quiere decir de su programa. No sé dónde está Gema, pero bueno. Podemos. Sí, okay. All the teams are here. A ver. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I'm missing one, but so, you know. Okay, I think we. Huh? See? So the beer is over there, so we can just skip the part of talking and pitching and all the things, and yeah, and also the turrón is over there, the food is coming, so no event at all, and then go and drink and eat. No, I think the sponsors want us to do something. So, welcome everyone. Today is your big day. Today is your graduation day. We have a little present here for you, for all the students, and another present that is coming. Yeah, we wanted to do this kind of event because all the previous editions, the 2 hours were very short time with all the things that we wanted to say. So we put, or we organize this one to be more where we can communicate all the things that we want to speak with you. For example, we organized a Google Launchpad in July with Almo. He's in charge in Google of that, and with Jaime Novoa. So Jaime Novoa was working with some of the teams that participated in the Google Launchpad this year, and he's doing some case studies and publishing in his own blog. By the way, Novo Brief, the best blog of tech technology in Spain. And yeah, so he's going to talk a little bit about the Google Launchpad and how it's working. I think they are going to organize a few more this year, so I encourage you to pay attention because there are very good mentors, and the feedback that we have from the teams are very, very good. And regarding this, we have B. Poppins, we have Ivan, who is going to talk a little bit about the experience and how they pivot doing that accelerator program, more or less, and how they more or less change the company. Then before the beers, there are going to be beers, but before the beers, then we have Nacho, the guy with the suit. So yeah, because he's coming from the investor side of the wall, he's coming in a suit. So he's going to talk about his experience launching Startup Explorer, and he's going to present a little bit Startup Explorer and what he's doing with Javier Mejías, and more or less the benefit that you can get from his platform. Then there are going to be, yes, beers, food, and turrón, suchar, thanks to Hand team. And during that break, we are organizing a matchmaking event, which is basically in the first table of the cafeteria. You're going to be with one mentor for a couple of minutes, let's say 25 minutes or something like that. We have a table with a spreadsheet with all the mentors and the teams, so you can have a beer with some of the guys that are coming. And at 7, they're going to be like the normal demo day of Tetuan Valley. First of all, there are going to be 5 pitches. I think Hema already sent you the list, who is the first, who is the second, who is the third, and so on. After the pitch, there's going to be always one of us in the laptop, so we will put in immediately the video. So you will talk at the same time that the video, more or less explaining what we're seeing in the screen. And after that, we were going to give you the T-shirts, the Tetuan Valley T-shirts. Yeah, after the first slot, Alfonso over here, we'll talk a little bit about his experience, founded ahorro.net. He's one of the startups that go through the Tetuan Valley program 5 editions ago, or 6? Okay. Yeah, 3.5 years ago, something like that. So yeah, Alfonso went through our program, fight like a beast for his startup. He went also to Lisbon Challenge, the accelerator program where 2 of the previous startups of Tetuan Valley are just finished last week. And he's going to introduce you a little bit about the mistake that he made, things that he will do differently if he has to start again. And then the rest of the teams. And to finish, I have a short presentation, just a couple of minutes or 5 minutes maximum, to speak a little bit about what Tetuan Valley can do for the teams after you got graduate, because there are a lot of things, like not only hosting services on the incubator, I think more or less you already know, but there are a couple of things that it's good to all the teams to know. So each of you will write me an email next week asking the same things, okay? So, first of all, Jaime Novoa talking about the case studies.
¿Dónde está el...? Hello. Eh? No, pasa. Thank you all for being here. As Karel said, my name is Jaime Novoa, and I currently run, well, I'm kind of like the founder, CEO, intern on my own blog, which is like just myself, and it's called novobrief.com, and it's basically a half-a-year-old blog where I cover the Spanish startup ecosystem, and I do it in English. And I basically do it in English for 2 main reasons. One, because I think a lot of people outside of Spain want to know what's happening in Spain, and then also because I honestly believe that a lot of coverage that startups are receiving in Spain is pretty bad. So I'm trying to do a better job at it, and sometimes better than others, some others not. But I'm not here to talk about the blog. I'm not a Google employee or anything like that. I just work with Google on the Google Launchpad program, which is basically a program. Well, hold on. How many of you know what Google Launchpad is? So about 10 people. All right. And how many of you are entrepreneurs or work at a startup? Any investors? 1? Okay. So basically, Google Launchpad is a 5-week program or a week-long program that it has taken place like 4 times in the past 12 months in Spain, and it's basically a program aimed at very early stage startups. I don't know if there's like an official criteria when it comes to the startups that can join Google Launchpad, but I think it's something like they have to be less than 1 year old, and they have to have raised less than a small amount of funding. So it's very early stage companies that are still trying to find product market fit. And so as I was saying, like so far over the past 12 months, we've had 4 Google Launchpads in Spain, 3 in Barcelona and 1 here in Madrid in July. And the program is run by Andres, also known as Almo, which is a Google employee, and he does a great job connecting the Spanish startup ecosystem and its startups. And as I was saying, it's a week-long program, so it runs from Monday to Friday. And I think what makes it different from other similar programs is that it's very intense. So it's 5 weeks, 8 hours, or sorry, 5 days, 8 to 9 hours, and the startups work with a great group of mentors. So mentors that are coming from startups, from other technology and bigger technology companies in Spain, and basically those mentors do all the good job in the program. I mean, myself and Johan Feito, which is the guy that helps me with the case studies, we don't do much. We just sit and listen. But the mentors are the ones that do the job, and I think it's fair to recognize what they do, because they come for free. Sometimes they come taking holidays, and they just come because they like helping startups and putting themselves into the places that they probably were a few years before. So every Google Launchpad has, is formed by 10 to 15 startups, and those 15 startups go through the day with 45-minute sessions with each of the mentors. So every 45 minutes, they change the mentors, and they start receiving feedback, basically because mentors come from different backgrounds, and they can give different feedback. And throughout the week, each day is dedicated to specific verticals. So for example, Mondays are product, Tuesdays are UX, Wednesdays are marketing, and the last 2 days are technology, are dedicated to technology. And the mentors change throughout the week, and there's different mentors who are experts in those areas. So I haven't been to the 4 Google Launchpads that have taken place in Madrid, so I've only been to 3 of them, but in the one that took place in April of this year in Barcelona, that's when we started to build the case studies. And the case studies are small PDFs. There's like three pages. They're posted on noblebrief.com, which is my blog. And the idea behind the case studies is like 2 main ideas. One is to expand the reach of Google Launchpad. So everything that happens at Google Launchpad, there's no press coverage of it. The sessions are in closed doors or private, and nobody posts about what's going on there. And the reasoning goes that, startups go through many different problems. The problems that one can go when they're building a marketplace startup will be different from one that's building a mobile app, but at the same time, there's like similar problems that they all face. So the idea is to other startups that are not part of the program, that are part of the ecosystem, for them to be able to get that knowledge and to read about it. And then the other key aspect is to expose mistakes and solutions, and share the startups' learnings that happen through the program. And as I usually say this when we start the program, we only do 3-4 reports per program, but the fact that one of the startups gets chosen to write a case study doesn't mean that that startup is better than the rest. It's only about that startup faces a problem that can be useful for other startups. And that's why we write the case studies. And the case studies, I think this is pretty common when it comes to startups, and this is kind of like the relationship between the entrepreneur and the mentors. The mentors know what's going to happen, and the most founders, they know they get told what's going to happen, and they don't. It's not that they do not pay attention, but they trust their gut, and then they run through a cliff, and even the mentors know that they're going to fall down the cliff, and they still do, and they fall, and then that's where the mentor comes in, and it's pretty much to help the startup get back on its feet and survive or go ahead with their product. And I don't want to bore you more time, so I'm gonna go through the mistakes, or what mistakes we've seen over the past few months. And basically, these are mistakes that are often seen throughout the program in a bunch of startups. It's not like you see this in one program and then you don't see it anymore. They're repeated all over again. One is focus. I think people from Tetuan Valley probably know this because they see a lot of startups every year, and it's focus. Too many startups have too many products or too many services that they think they can take to market, instead of just focusing on one and going ahead with that one. And for example, we had a case in the second Google Launchpad, the first one this year in April, where it was a startup that managed like tickets, like police tickets for cars, for parking. And they basically had 3 different products, and they were working with 3 different public entities in Spain, instead of just focusing on one. And when they focused on one, they did a much better job. Then there's customer validation. Try to sell. There's a lot of noise right now about fundraising, and Nacho would probably tell you about that. But there's a lot of noise in Spain right now about fundraising, and I think that money from your clients is a lot better than money from your investors, especially because when you get money from investors, like your arm is getting chopped off, and then you have the rest of your body to do the work. To tell a story, we had a very interesting case with one startup that came from Asturias, and basically they had built a software that would put in your Google Glass, and that would help blind people like get to know what's around them. And those guys had a very interesting story, but they were trying to sell it without telling that story and just focusing on the complexities of the product instead of the problem they were solving. So it's always good to do storytelling. And I don't know if Alex Barrera is going to be here later. Is he going to be here, Alex? Okay, he already presented. 'Cause he knows a lot about storytelling and how that can help startups sell and then build a better product. Talk to the unexpected, and by this I mean there's a lot of synergies that can be created from startups that are participating, that are in the same building or that are participating in the same program. And for example, in the first Google Launchpad, we saw two startups that they didn't talk to each other, but they had products that were complementary and they could work together. And they did, and they launched a product, or they're working on a relationship that can take them to good places. Background, the background is the background over here that I highlight is it's strongly associated with the fact of about launching a product. So for example, in the Madrid Launchpad that took place in July, there was this startup that was called Heygo, and basically they had a product, a photo sharing app that they had built for the past 2 years, and they didn't want to launch it. They didn't want to launch it, mainly because one of the guys, the CEO, came from Intel, so he ran a chip manufacturing plant in Costa Rica for a long time, and in his mind, he didn't realize the differences between hardware and software. And software that if possible, you just have to launch it, iterate, and talk to the customer, and go from there. And we see that a lot with startups that are afraid of launching the product and iterating for that, instead trying to get a perfect product when that's impossible. And then the last one that we saw in this very recent Launchpad, we took place a week ago, is pricing. I mean, pricing is hard. It's even hard for me for the blog when I try to monetize stuff. And pricing is hard, and you shouldn't take it for granted. I mean, you probably all know this, but pricing is very different from cost, and pricing is more about setting a value, setting a price for the value you create instead of focusing on the cost and going from that. And so basically, these are what the case studies look like. This is one of the first ones we did. So it's basically like it's a PDF they're all on novobrief.com, and if you go to the top bar on novobrief.com, you can see it there. And basically, it's like an introduction about the team, about the product, and then we ask ourselves a set of questions that are the same in every Google Launchpad, like what were they focusing on prior to Google Launchpad, what feedback did they receive from mentors, and then we try to complement that with some quotes or with some studies from people who really know their business. And then we just try to analyze this. The last page is always trying to analyze like what the startups realized, what they changed, and basically what are they going to do forward, and also like how can this help other startups, which is the main purpose of the case studies. And I invite you to go read them. They're on novobrief.com, and if you go to the top bar, you will see Google Launchpad case studies. So if you search on Google for Google Launchpad case studies, you will find them. And I don't want to bore you more, so thanks a lot. And you can follow me on Twitter, Jaime Navor. If you want to send me an email, just shoot it at jaime@novobrief.com. So thank you. And now, Ivan, which participated in the Launchpad from July, I think, with B Poppins, is going to talk to you about the experience running that.
I'm sorry. Well, as Jaime told you, I participate in Launchpad last July here in Campus Madrid. My name is Ivan, and I am the co-founder of a startup for finding nannies called bepoppins.com. This is, well, as Karel told me, explain them what were the problems you arrived with to Launchpad, and this was our problem. We closed the platform was closed. All users had to register. So the issue here was that when a user gets into Bepoppins, they have to register, to put a username, an email, a password. So it was hard for them to get into Bepoppins. This was our principal issue. But when we came to Google to the Launchpad with some problems that we wanted to solve, and these were them. The customer acquisition, marketing actions, we have made some, but they didn't work. The conversion funnel and the CEO. With the customer acquisition, the problem we thought we had was that customers get into Bepoppins, but we didn't know why they didn't contract a nanny. This was our thing. Marketing actions, we have made some of them, but they didn't work at all. For example, we tried to go to, I don't know how do you call it, garden school or kids schools, trying to tell them that when a kid becomes ill, they cannot go to school. So we have thought, why don't we tell them we have Bepoppins? You can talk. You can come to Bepoppins. You can find a nanny. You can solve your problem there. The other problem was the conversion funnel that was in that moment too long, and finally our search engine optimization. So this was the answers we get. You don't have a problem in customer acquisition, you don't have a problem in marketing actions, and you don't have a problem with search engine, with SEO. You have a problem with the conversion funnel. The thing customer has to do then was not only registration, they have to go to Bepoppins, try to find a nanny, go nanny per nanny, trying to find one nanny that can match with their needs. And then they had to make like to send us like an email with their telephone number, the name, their needs, what age were their kids, and finally all that only to and once they had sent us that email, the thing was that we called them and we asked them again all those questions. So that was a really big problem for us. I mean, the user had to make a lot of things, and finally we call them and we repeat them to make exactly the same, but by phone. So what the mentors told us during the 5 days, it was not only in marketing, it was not only in product, it was not only in UX, it was not only in technology. All of them told us the same thing. You don't have all those things or all those problems you think you have. The problems you have is in the conversion funnel. So they told us, users don't want to register, try to make it easy for them. They have to do a lot of steps, and not only a lot of steps, but also you have to, they have to repeat what they have done like 5 minutes ago, but by phone. We had some customers, we had a payment method, but it was an offline payment. So customers told us, we want to pay that, but we want to pay you using a credit card. And finally, the final problems we told you. So what have we done since then? We opened the page. It's really, it's easier for customers to find a nanny. They have to select a city, which day they need it, and at what time. They go to, they have to click on search, and they find, well, that part over there, they find the full all nannies, and then they can select every nanny, deciding what day, and finally they can pay the contraction using a credit card. So, how did we arrive to Google Launchpad? Where are we now, and where do we think we have to go? When we create Bpoppins in like 2 years ago, we built like our house light. We find a problem we put the light on it, but it was too big. Then after Google Launchpad, sorry, we convert this lighthouse in a lighter. So we simplify the process. We made it easy for our customers. So now we have the problem. We have focused that problem in a small light. But I think that when you are in the moment we are now, I mean we are not an enterprise, a big enterprise, but we have decided to try to focus more, not only with a lighter, but also with a laser. Say the laser. So the thing here is, when you try to build a startup, the best thing you can do is try to find a problem, then try to focus on the key problem of the customer, and once you have found it, try to, with the laser, go for it. And that's it. That's all I had to tell you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tetuan Valley. I'm not the guy with money. I am not the guy with business skills or whatever. But my name is Nacho Ormeño. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Startup Explore, one of the biggest startup and investors community based here in Spain, and launched from here, Spain. And well, congratulations. It's your final day, your demo day. And maybe some of you will be looking for apply to a new accelerator, or maybe some of you are looking for funding and raise your first financial round. Or maybe some of you are planning to show your product and your project to the world. No? Okay, well, these all things can be done in Startup Explore, the startup that my friend Javier Mejías and myself launched 1 year ago. So what I want to share with you are some thoughts regarding startups and entrepreneurship problems. That after close my previous startup and launch a new one and speak and talk to tons of startup founders, we have found a lot of learnings, keys that I will share with you. Well, what we are going to talk is about why startups fail. 1 year ago, Seven Sites launched a survey among several startup founders and asked them what was the reason who have failed. I'm a firm believer that if we learn about this experience, about where other founders failed, Well, it's to learn about others problems. And the results were the following. The first one is most of startups fails because build products who nobody wants. Okay. Well, we have lean startup methodology, we have business model canvas, empathy maps, whatever, but these are only tools, and you need to think, oh wait, okay, we have Steve Blank too, but following their precepts doesn't guarantee you anything, okay? You need to think, and the purpose of your work is to solve people's real problems, okay? These are only tools, not our dogma. You as a startup founder need to deal with it. You need to deal with people problems and solve people real problems. Okay, some days ago, one of the startup founders from here, from Tetuan Valley, gave us a piece of advice. He told us that if you are a startup and you are a business-to-business startup, stop code your product and get out of the building and start to selling it. He told us because once you find your first customer, you can stick to that customer and learn as much as you can. Okay. Try to learn about him and about their needs, about their problems. First of all, nobody will pay you for your first development, okay? So at least you can build something that will be useful for somebody. But if you are a B2C startup, the pieces you have to unlock is the channel and the customer relationship from the business model canvas. Okay? Working with two pieces of the business model will be your workhorse for every single day. You need to understand which channels works better for your case, and you need to understand which relationship you are building with your customers. And these things, you need to do it every day. The second major problem that the startups have is that they run out of cash. First thing you need to do as founder is ask yourself what you want to be when your startup grows. Ask yourself if you want to be a company and play game of companies, or ask yourself if you want to be a startup and play game of startups. I guarantee you that those games has totally different rules. Okay, maybe you can choose play startups games and start to talk with professional investors. But if you're talking to professional investors, you need to answer all these questions. You need to give answers, which are your team, which are your startup, which is your market, your location, which is your valuation, which are your currently shareholders, which are your competitors, and which are your tractions, revenues, KPIs, and so on. Okay? Every single question that we can show here must be asked for you. Once you answer all previous questions, you can start to looking for funding. Okay? To know which investors are around you, we can help you with the Startup Explore. We can identify which are the top investors, which are their investment profile, which are their investment strategy, in order to look if this investor in particular suits for your project. Which are their portfolio companies, and which persons or entities usually co-invest with him. Even, we can help you to raise some funds when you will prepare, as we have done in other startups, like Splitefy, Novicap, Wazy Park, Groupify, or Family. But before all this, you need to do your homeworks. You need to understand which are the conventions, which are the terminology, And you need to understand what is a cap table, what are the clauses that apply on a shareholders agreement, like a take a loan, drag a loan, which is your valuation, pre-money valuation, post-money valuation. And it's a good exercise for a startup, know how a venture capitalists work. The third reason why startups fail is the team. Well, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And also apply to startups, because we are building teams. We are building teams of people that work together. And our resources are very limited. At the beginning, every of us need to manage different caps, okay? If we saw how big startups are organized, they are marketing departments, sales department, business development department, technology, product, human resources, money. We have a very small amount of resources. We have 1 or 2 co-founders. So we need to deal with it and manage different caps every time, okay? To sum up, we need to, and our team needs to get attention from people. And people, we understand users, customers, press, investors. We need people to are able to sell things. We need people in our team that are able to build things. And ensure adequate financial planning for all our purpose. To sum up, during past 6 weeks, one of the best, you have been part of one of the best startup school we have. You are ready to leave your barrier reef and start to swim in a deep ocean. So beware of predators and sharks that there are out there. Okay. As advice, challenge everything. Don't sign clauses that you don't understand. Don't sign clauses without contrast it. Okay, we have an awesome community out there that they are willing to help you if you need it. Swim as a group as a big school of fishes. In doing this, it helps you from being big predators and reduce friction to go further. And one final thing, ask you why. Why are you doing this? Why? Because if you are doing this only for money, there will be troubles in the future when things go slower than expected. And you receive job offers with a great salary. Maybe if money is the unique reason about you're doing this, well, maybe your startup will be in trouble. But if you have a good why, a good reason to do what you are doing, fight for your dreams, and go ahead, okay? Thank you. Any question? Yes. My previous startup was a cultural startup called Innovalyrica, and when we have 60, we have to manage 60 people making Spanish opera. And yes, it's nothing technologic. Spanish opera, yeah. In Innovalyrica. No. No. We have had to close in 2012 due to the economic crisis. Okay, the reason was because we didn't find a profitable business model, and we have to close. Yep, the eternal problem, correct. Any other question? How many of you are looking for funding in the following 2 months or 3 months? Okay. How many of you have been talking with your first investor? Okay. Any questions regarding that? Yes, you need to have a lead investor because we don't select projects. We have the figure of the role of lead investors that need to put in your round around 15–20% of the round of the ticket you're looking for. So once we have the opportunity with a startup and a lead investor, we open the opportunity to other investors from platform. We have currently 1,300 investors registered in the Startup Explorer. And one of the advantages that I see, because we have need to raise our own rounds, is that with a Startup Explorer we can reduce and decrease the amount of time that founders are looking for funding. Because when we have the first lead investor, we spend more or less 1 month or 2 months to close the round if the suits in the market. Yes. Because we syndicate all investors in one special purpose vehicle that is in order to simplify your capitalization table. Okay, you compare with other crowdfunding platforms. If you raise funds from Crowdcube, for example, in your capitalization table, you will find 50 or 60 different investors with a very small amount of tickets. Okay, we aggregate all of these investors in one special purpose vehicle, and you in your capitalization table made by Startup Explorer, you have only two entries. Okay, and we are in charge of everything in the process: the shareholders' agreement, the term sheet. All negotiations between startups and investors are totally transparent and are offered in the same condition to all the investors. So you can choose where and negotiate which clauses applies to your case. Yes. Currently, we are handle tickets from 100,000 euros because we launched operations 6 months ago, and our 5 operations that we have closed are around that amount. Okay. Any other question? Right, thank you.
So, as you can hear, the beers are getting colder. Before that, I have 2 surprises. The first one is, come on. The first one is we have today we received a visit of 2 startups from Europe, from Dublin and from Milan. Okay, so we are going to give them 3 minutes to present as well without the slides. So they take the chance to do it and the risk. And after that, Elena, she's from Banco Sabadell, will present the program Be a Startup, which is right now open. So she will introduce you to this program, okay? So let's see how they do in Europe.
Thank you very much. Hi, my name's David Shackleton. I've no slides and I've no idea how long 3 minutes is going to be, so somebody shout at me if I go on for too long. So our business is OpenBack, and we're headquartered in Dublin, Ireland. We're here as part of the Welcome program. What is OpenBack? I'm sure all of you, certainly for me, every time I look at my phone, I've got, maybe not hundreds, but I've got lots of notifications, and all the mobile apps on my phone want to talk to me. Now, if I put my other hat on, and I'm involved with a couple of businesses where we have mobile apps, I want to talk to the users. I want them to get them to use my mobile app more, to buy something, to engage with content. But the problem is they're competing forces. The app wants to talk to you to get you to do something, but as the user, you don't want to get all these messages. You just want to get the right message at the right time. So what we've built is a platform where we help a mobile app figure out a good time to put a message in front of a user. So how do we do that? We use the device data, so things like location, time, language, and a ton of other stuff to figure out the right time to present the message. So what does that mean? So if you have a mobile app, and you put our little software library inside your app, I have a video that shows it takes 20 seconds, you can then choose context triggers, and when those triggers are met, then the app itself fires the message to the user. So it could be something like, I'm at home on a weekday evening between 5 and 7 p.m. I unlocked my phone 2 minutes ago and I have a good data connection. That's a good time to interrupt me for a video, not when I'm driving. And so that's how our platform works. So today, the way apps do it, typically companies, nearly every app would use either somebody to help them do it or Google Message Center or Apple's APNS to blast out push notifications to everybody who has your app installed. We think that's broken, that's the wrong way, and there's no way it'll work like that in the future. The way we do it is you set up your campaign, so what's the message to the user at the particular time? You hit save. That campaign then goes out and sits in all of those mobile apps that you have installed, hopefully millions of those apps, as some of our customers have, waiting for the right time to come to the user. And so that's what we do. So we have 30 of these different device triggers. It includes stuff like somebody just installed a competitor's app. We have a big gaming company who loves that one. Their customers are worth about $300 each to them. So if they see somebody installing a competitor's app, they want to give you a coupon right away. We have a bank. We're working with KBC Bank, and they want to use it when you walk into branch, that they use just a location trigger. So that's who we are. If any of you have a mobile app, you're worried about retention, getting people to open your app again and getting the right messages in front of them, we'd love to work with you and help you figure that out. Thank you very much. Any questions? Hi. OpenBack. Yeah, .com. We bought the domain. It cost us a lot. Thank you. Oh, another one. Yeah, great question. Ultimately, we're all about using device data as opposed to sort of user data. So there's a bit of a differentiation. Ultimately, though, the data that we're using on the phone, the user's giving permission to do it. So if you have an app, the way the setup process works is we have a thing we call a permission matrix. So what permissions do you already ask the user for? And then it's those permissions that open up different triggers. So if you want to use location, of course, you've got to have got the user's permission to use their location. Does that answer your question? Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in terms of our business, we see 3 bits of value we're building in our business. 1 is our customers, 2 is our technology, but 3 is our expertise and being a trusted partner for apps in how do we handle sort of customer data privacy. Thank you. Alberto.
Thank you, David. So, hi everyone, I'm Alberto Lobue. I'm just gonna use 3 minutes of your time to tell you about Papem, which is the first mobile app to bridge the gap between online and physical retailing. So basically, the story is this. When it comes to fashion and design, when it comes to buying your clothes, you can either decide to buy them online, and you don't get to try them, to touch them, to feel them, because before you make a purchasing decision, and you end up returning them 40% of the times, or you can buy them in store. You don't get the same variety, the same pricing you usually get online. So most of the times, modern consumers are starting to look up products online and then go try them in store, or trying them in store and then buy them online at a cheaper price. So there are all these multi-channel shopping experiences, but there's no one-stop shop where users can really enjoy a unique multi-channel experience. At the same time, where the retailers stand in this story, they love physical customers because they have a much higher basket size, they're more loyal, but they don't have an efficient way to attract the right audience in store. So they spend a lot of money on offline marketing, on online marketing, and they don't get the results they usually want. So we thought, what if we launched a mobile app which allows retailers to attract the right audience in store, a targeted audience in store, allowing them to save money on their own marketing efforts, while creating a unique multi-channel shopping experience for their users. And that's what we do with Papem. So we aggregate the best fashion and design shops in town. Every single one of these stores can post up to 50 offers on promotions on the app. And then users can look through the different offers comfortably from home, or they can be engaged through personalized notifications. So we use the iBeacon technology and geofence and proximity marketing techniques to send the right message at the right time to a customer in proximity to our partner stores. So we bring in-store visitors who are twice as likely to convert into a visit than a normal visitor. So we usually work with 120 retailers, among which Lacoste, Vans, Timberland, Brooks Brothers, but also a lot of boutiques and artisans who do handmade shoes, shirts. So we go after the long tail of the retailing word as well. We're raising a seed round right now of 500K. If any of you is interested in contributing, I'd be glad to talk to you. That's it. Thank you very much. Open up the floor for questions if there are any. Probably soon. We'll talk about that later.
Elena, your turn.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I'm sorry for my English because I'm a Spanish speaker, so I hope all of you could understand me. But if not, then I can explain everything in Spanish. So I don't know if you all know which is Banco Sabadell. Banco Sabadell is the fourth private Spanish bank, and we are specialized with Be a Startup. That is a program which support the develop of the early companies and the young companies to growth and to success and growth better than in the other ways. We can talk about 3 lines of our work that they are our specialized branches who can know or understand how do you feel, or which are your necessities or your financial needs. And also we have a specialized risk department, because speaking about risk is some impossible thing in banks. And then we are supporting the startups with our program that is called Be a Startup 10. That means that we invest in their company in the early stages with 100,000 euros. That means 80,100 euros in cash, and then 20,000 euros in a program of high qualification as a kind of accelerator. And nowadays, till the 21st of December, you can apply for the 5th call. You can find everything on all the information in beastartup.org, where you can find all the requisites and, well, the companies that we are looking for. And we invest in equity for you. And also we make a program of innovation, collaborative innovation. That means we try, and we are not close to incorporating our ADN your own projects if we need some in some cases. And then, well, I will be right now in Tetuan all the afternoon, so if you can talk to me if you want. Thank you.
So, now it's time to have a little break. You can go upstairs, and we will have the beers for you, and also the turon. The food is coming. And in a half an hour, I'm gonna check if all the mentors and all the matchmaking is ready. So I'm gonna call each of the startups to go to, as I remember you, to the first table over there in the cafeteria. So have fun and don't miss it. That we will start again like at 7, a little bit earlier than 7.